You open your fridge every day, sometimes out of hunger, sometimes out of habit. It's just there, humming quietly in the corner of your kitchen. But what if that fridge, the one that stores your groceries, your late night snacks, was quietly influencing your money, your mood, and your momentum? It sounds strange, even a little dramatic. But hear me out. In nearly every home I've visited in the last 20 years, there's been one common thread when people say, "We're doing okay," but something always feels off. It's not always their mindset. It's not their budget. Sometimes it's their layout. More specifically, it's their fridge. See, the refrigerator isn't just a machine. It's a symbol of nourishment, of stability. And whether we realize it or not, it's the energetic vault that holds how we store, save, and circulate abundance. And here's the kicker. If that vault is placed in the wrong spot, facing the wrong direction, or fighting with other elements around it, the energy you need to grow, thrive, and feel financially grounded might be leaking out slowly, invisibly, but consistently. So if your finances always feel almost enough but never quite steady, maybe it's not your income that needs adjusting. Maybe it's your fridge. Let's take a closer look, because this one shift might change more than you think. Part 1. Your fridge is more than a machine, it's an energy vault. You might not think twice about it, but your fridge holds more power than you realize. Not in a mystical, woo-woo kind of way, but in the real, grounded sense of what it means to feel nourished, secure, and in control of your home. Think about it. The fridge is the one appliance everyone uses, no matter their age, schedule, or mood. It's where your kids sneak snacks, where you check late at night when you're stressed, where your groceries land after a long, exhausting day. It's familiar, it's constant, and that's exactly why we overlook it. But in its quiet, humming presence, the refrigerator is doing more than just keeping things cold. It's shaping the emotional temperature of your home. It's the centerpiece of how we store what sustains us and the symbol of how we handle the flow of abundance. A fridge that's full, neatly stocked with fresh food, essentials, things you love, has a different energy than one that's half empty, stuffed with expired condiments and leftovers no one will eat. You know the feeling. You open the door and either feel calm and prepared or overwhelmed and vaguely unsettled. That moment isn't just about what's inside. It's about what your home is saying back to you. And if you're constantly opening a fridge that feels chaotic, sparse, or neglected, you're receiving a subtle but powerful message: things are slipping. You're not supported. There's not enough. That message builds, day after day. And before long, it starts to shape how you move through your life, how you spend, how you save, how you see yourself in moments of lack. It's not about superstition. It's about signals. And your fridge, believe it or not, sends signals every time you interact with it. Now here's where things get even more interesting. In many modern households, the refrigerator isn't just a food keeper, it's often the most visible appliance in the kitchen. Sometimes it's right by the door. Sometimes it's the first thing you see when you walk in. And when it's placed awkwardly facing out toward the front entrance, squeezed between heat sources, or buried in shadow, it creates a kind of energetic friction. You might not see it, but you feel it. Meals feel rushed, grocery shopping becomes stressful, and there's this strange cycle of not enough that keeps repeating. Why does that matter? Because your kitchen is where you nourish your body and your family. And your fridge, at the center of it all, should be a calming presence, not a chaotic one. When it's treated with care, placed in harmony with the space around it, kept clean, well-stocked, and easy to access, it becomes more than a machine. It becomes a vault, a silent, everyday container of abundance. It says you're supported, you're prepared, you have enough. This isn't about perfection. It's not about designing a magazine-ready kitchen or throwing away everything you own. It's about one shift in awareness. A moment of seeing that the way you care for the most ordinary things, especially the ones you touch daily, can shape the entire energy of your life. So the next time you open your fridge, pause. Look at what it's holding. Look at how it makes you feel. Does it reflect the kind of home you're trying to build? Or is it sending messages you haven't even noticed? Because sometimes the door we open without thinking is the one that's been whispering the loudest all along. Part 2. The wrong spot can quietly leak your wealth away. You don't need to believe in energy to feel when something is off. A room that makes you restless. A hallway that feels cold. A corner that no one ever uses. Sometimes it's not the furniture or the color of the paint, it's placement. And in the heart of the home, the kitchen placement quietly shapes everything. Let's talk about the refrigerator. Not as a machine, but as a presence. It hums in the background. It stands tall, sometimes massive. It's the one appliance that stays on 24/7. But have you ever considered what it's facing? What's around it? Where it's pulling energy from and where it might be pushing it away? Because here's the truth: your fridge's position might be leaking your wealth. Not in some abstract, hard-to-grasp sense, but in a real, day-to-day ripple that affects how you feel about your finances, how you spend, how you save, and how often things seem to slip through your fingers. Start with this: is your fridge the first thing you see when you walk in the front door? It might seem efficient: grab a drink, drop the groceries, but energetically, it's like leaving your wallet on the welcome mat. When your fridge faces the entrance, the energy that's supposed to settle, to nourish, to stay races right back out. It creates a subtle but constant feeling that what you bring in doesn't stay. That money, like milk, expires fast. That effort never quite becomes ease. Now think about placement near the stove. This is more common than we realize: fridges and stoves crammed side by side in tight kitchens. But here's the problem: these two appliances represent opposite forces. The stove radiates heat, fire, motion. The fridge requires stillness, cold, preservation. When they're too close, they fight not with sparks or noise but with subtle imbalance. Meals feel rushed, groceries spoil faster, bills pile up unexpectedly, and the emotional atmosphere? Tense, often without a clear reason. Especially for women who still carry the invisible weight of managing food, family rhythms, emotional temperature, this clash shows up as burnout. You're cooking and caring and coordinating and still feeling behind. Like the energy of the home is pulling against you, because in a way it is. In many homes, this setup isn't a choice, it's what the builder decided, or what fit, and that's okay. You don't need to renovate, but you do need to notice, because even awareness begins to shift things. Look again. Is your fridge directly opposite a hallway? That's another pull point, an energetic tug that makes the fridge feel exposed, vulnerable, and constantly giving. Does it sit beneath harsh lighting or in deep shadow? Does it feel like it belongs or like it was squeezed in? The way your fridge sits in a space reflects how supported you feel in your finances. If it's isolated, crammed, too close to heat or exit points, it can mirror a life that feels financially fragile. Always catching up, never quite catching a break. Here's what a good fridge placement feels like: tucked but not hidden, visible but not exposed. It feels like it belongs, like a heartbeat, tucked in the chest of your kitchen, not facing the door, not next to fire, not squeezed between chaos, just settled, anchored. And when your fridge feels that way, you feel that way. Now let's be real, not everyone can move their fridge. Some kitchens are tight, some layouts are fixed, and that's where you shift the energy, not with force but with intention. Start with a buffer. If your fridge and stove are fighting, introduce a neutral zone, a narrow shelf, a small wooden panel, even a fabric curtain that breaks the tension. These little things don't just decorate, they separate. They say this space holds calm. If your fridge faces the door, shift what the eye sees first. A small table with a plant, a rug, a mirror angled away. You're not blocking the fridge, you're softening the entry, redirecting the flow. If your fridge feels exposed, give it a frame, not a wall, just a sense of being held. Maybe it's a light above it, or art nearby, or nothing at all except your decision to see it, to acknowledge it, to let it matter. Because when something matters, we care for it differently. And that brings us back to the emotional layer. Because money is rarely just about math. It's about how supported we feel, how safe, how steady. And when the fridge, the symbol of nourishment, consistency, and care, is out of sync, our relationship with money tends to follow. So here's your quiet invitation: take a second look, not with stress, not with blame, just with eyes open to the invisible systems shaping your space. Because sometimes the biggest leaks don't make a sound. Sometimes, what's draining you is sitting in plain sight, humming, waiting, asking to be realigned. The fridge isn't just keeping your food cold. It's holding your sense of stability. And the wrong placement doesn't just throw off energy, it throws off clarity, focus, the feeling of knowing that what you bring home will stay, nourish, and last. So stand there in your kitchen. Look at it again. Ask, is this the kind of corner where wealth would feel welcome to rest? Or does it look like a place things pass through but never stay? Your answer might change more than your kitchen. It might change your sense of enough. And that, in the quietest way, is the beginning of real abundance. Part 3: Which directions welcome prosperity in? Sometimes a small shift in direction can create a ripple so subtle you don't notice it until everything starts to feel different. The way you sleep, the way conversations unfold, the way money stays or doesn't. When we talk about energy in the home, we're not speaking in metaphors. We're talking about how environments shape outcomes. And nowhere is that more quietly powerful than the direction your refrigerator faces. It may sound unlikely. Why would the direction of a fridge matter? Isn't it enough that it works, that it keeps things cold? But think beyond the function. Think about placement as orientation, what your fridge is looking at, and what that subtle angle invites in or pushes away. The fridge is the keeper of nourishment, the vault of sustenance. And like any vault, where it faces matters. Let's begin with southeast. This direction has long been associated with growth, with the kind of energy that doesn't just hold wealth but helps it multiply. When your fridge faces southeast, it aligns with momentum. Think upward financial movement, steady opportunities, stronger follow-through. It's not magic, it's resonance. And for households trying to expand a side hustle, a small business, a long overdue promotion, this direction supports action. It says you're moving forward, you're ready. You're not just surviving, you're building. A fridge aligned this way often changes how you interact with it. You stock it more thoughtfully. You open it with less rush, there's less spoilage, less waste. And energetically that translates to a greater sense of flow. Money doesn't feel like it arrives in panic and leaves in guilt. It feels like it moves through with purpose and stays longer. Now compare that with the north. Where southeast supports expansion, north whispers stability. It's the direction of holding, of calm. It doesn't push, but it protects. For families focused on saving, on slowing down spending, on building consistency, north-facing fridge placement becomes a silent partner. It cools the urgency. It creates space to breathe. And here's what makes north powerful in households where life already moves fast, where kids are loud, jobs are demanding, meals are scattered. The fridge facing north becomes a grounding point. It's where your day starts quietly, maybe with coffee or breakfast. It's where you exhale. It tells the nervous system this is safe. You're not behind. You have what you need. When that message repeats itself day after day, it changes how you manage your resources, not just groceries, but time, energy, money. The direction matters more than most people realize, not because of superstition, but because of how often we face it. If you open your fridge 10 times a day, that's 10 chances for a message to sink in. And the direction determines the tone of that message. Some directions feel like chaos, others feel like calm. Some push you to react, others invite you to plan. Now here's a deeper layer. Most people don't know their fridge is facing wrong until they realize their financial patterns are repeating, earning more, but not saving, organizing more, but still feeling behind, doing everything right, yet still feeling unstable. It doesn't always mean the direction is the problem, but it can be a missing piece. Because orientation isn't just about the fridge. It's about what you're facing in your life. Are you looking at growth, or hiding from change? Are you grounded, or always compensating? When your fridge faces a direction that supports your stage of life, whether that's expansion or stability, it doesn't change everything overnight. But it stops fighting you. It stops sending mixed signals. It starts working with your rhythm instead of against it. That's when small choices, what you buy, how you cook, what you keep, begin to echo something deeper: clarity. So how do you know what direction your fridge is facing? Use a simple compass or compass app. Stand facing your fridge and check which direction your chest is facing. That's your fridge's orientation. And once you know it, ask yourself, does this direction reflect the energy I want to call in? If not, don't panic. You may not be able to rotate the fridge, and that's okay. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about alignment. Even if you can't move the fridge, you can enhance the qualities of the direction you do have. For instance, if your fridge faces west, a direction often linked to endings, slowing down, you can add symbols of vitality nearby. A green plant, a warm toned cloth, a soft light that says this is a place of life. If your fridge faces south, sometimes linked to fire energy, which can clash with the cold, it's especially important to create balance. Consider adding a wooden object nearby. Wood balances fire and supports the fridge's cooling function energetically. If south is where you are, then balance is how you stay grounded. No matter the direction, intention reshapes energy. When you look at your fridge as more than a machine, when you ask it to be a space of support, it begins to answer. Not with words, but with patterns. Food stays fresh longer. Meals feel less rushed. Your body softens in the kitchen. And somehow, even without spreadsheets or budgets, you find yourself feeling just a little more in control. Because direction isn't just a compass point, it's a decision. About where you're heading, about what kind of energy you allow into the most vital room in your home. about whether your fridge is just a cold box or a partner in building the life you truly want. So take a moment. Look at where it's facing. Feel the quality of that direction. Does it match your goals, your hopes, your season of life? Because when the direction is right, things feel less forced. The house feels more alive. And you, without needing to push, feel just a little more at home in your own abundance. Part 4. Can't move it. Then place small, but right. Not every home gives you the luxury of rearranging everything. Kitchens are tight, outlets are fixed. Spaces are already spoken for. And when it comes to something as heavy and essential as a refrigerator, just move it often isn't an option. But here's the good news: alignment doesn't always mean renovation. Sometimes it means adaptation, a shift in awareness, a few small, thoughtful choices that recalibrate the energy without tearing anything down. If you can't move the fridge, you can still move the energy around it. Start by looking at the relationship between your fridge and its neighbors. Is it sitting shoulder to shoulder with the stove? That's one of the most common energetic clashes in modern kitchens: cold pressed against fire, stillness against heat. Even if your appliances aren't arguing out loud, the imbalance can show up subtly. Your food spoils faster, the fridge struggles to stay cold, your kitchen feels more chaotic, less peaceful. You may even notice a feeling of burnout, especially if you do most of the cooking, because the space where you nourish others shouldn't feel like a battleground. If moving one of the appliances isn't possible, create a buffer. This doesn't have to be big or expensive. A slim wooden shelf, a vertical tray rack, even a strip of butcher block between the two. Anything that symbolically and visually separates fire from cold. Wood is a neutralizing element. It calms the tension, absorbs excess, and brings warmth without more heat. It also reminds you every time you see it that you've taken a step toward harmony, even if it's a quiet one. Now turn to the front of your fridge. What do you see? For many of us, it's a gallery of magnets, expired coupons, old notes, and random school papers. It's well-meaning clutter. But energetically it becomes static, noise, a wall of unresolved tasks and forgotten reminders. And in a space meant to represent clarity, nourishment, and abundance, clutter confuses the message. So clear it. Not to make your kitchen look perfect, but to give your fridge a chance to speak more clearly. Let its front be a space of intention. If you want to decorate it, choose 1 or 2 images that calm you. A photo of a joyful moment, a simple affirmation, a small symbol of wealth, like a golden fruit magnet or a green plant icon. That's all. The point isn't to style, it's to focus. Now let's talk about the top of the fridge. In many homes it becomes accidental storage. Bags, paper towels, cereal boxes. But what sits on top of your fridge is energetically above the source of your nourishment. And if what's up there feels heavy, neglected, or chaotic, it can send the message that pressure is sitting on top of your prosperity. Clean it off, and then place something gentle. A small basket with intention, a leafy plant, real or high-quality faux, a wooden bowl, something that represents life, care, and thoughtfulness. You don't need more stuff, you need a better relationship with what's already there. If your fridge is in a narrow space or facing a hallway, soften the path. You're not blocking the energy, you're guiding it. A rug with warm tones, a soft hanging cloth nearby, a small mirror angled to reflect light back into the kitchen instead of pulling it away. These changes may seem minor, but they alter how your body feels in the space. And when your body feels more at ease, your mind makes better choices about food, about money, about how you move through your day. For those who follow elemental energies, you can even enhance the fridge's harmony based on your own energy type. If you're wood aligned, add green nearby. If you're metal aligned, keep things simple and light. If you're fire aligned, bring in calming textures like wood or earth tones to counterbalance the cold. You don't need to know all the rules. You just need to notice what calms you. What makes the space feel like a place you want to be, not a corner you want to escape. And this, really, is the heart of the shift. Seeing the fridge not as a problem to fix, but a relationship to tend. If you can't move it, honor it. Make its space work better. Make the energy around it feel smoother, lighter, more intentional. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel like a place where prosperity would want to stay. Because in the end, this isn't about rearranging furniture. It's about rearranging the way we relate to what's already in our lives. We often think abundance comes from earning more, pushing harder, reaching further. But sometimes, it starts by softening something small, by noticing what feels off, by adding a touch of balance to the corner we forgot mattered. So if your fridge can't move, don't force it, respect it. Dress it gently, clear its voice, and let that small act of care ripple into how you treat everything else. Because when even your fridge feels seen, your whole home starts to listen. Part 5. A clean fridge is a warm wallet. Abundance doesn't always announce itself with a big check or a lucky break. Sometimes it arrives quietly in the way your home smells when you open the fridge.
In the ease of finding what you need without shifting expired containers.
In the small, steady message that says, you're prepared, you're taken care of. And that message often begins with cleanliness. Your fridge may be a machine, but energetically, it's a mirror. What's inside reflects what you believe about nourishment, worth, and readiness. And just like money, if it's neglected, if it's cluttered, if it's empty, it begins to erode the sense of safety in your home. That erosion is rarely dramatic, it's slow, subtle. A creeping discomfort. A quiet sense that something is off, even if you can't name it. And yet, when you clean it, when you give your fridge attention the way you would a sacred space, you begin to feel something shift. Calm, clarity, control. Not in your finances yet, but in your body. Let's start with the most basic rule: never let your fridge stay empty. You don't need it bursting with groceries. But a completely bare fridge sends a deep signal of lack. That resources are low. That you're surviving, not thriving. That you're waiting always for something to arrive. Instead, keep it stocked lightly, intentionally. A few essentials, a meal you're excited to make, a sense of enough. This isn't about overbuying. It's about giving your home permission to feel fed, supported, settled. Now look closer. What's expired? What's untouched for weeks? Moldy produce. Leftovers you meant to finish but didn't. Half-open jars with labels curling at the edges. All of it carries a weight. Even if you don't notice it, your body does. Every time you open the door and see those things, something tenses. The message is, I'm behind, I forgot, I didn't finish. Over time, those messages accumulate. They don't just clutter your fridge, they clutter your confidence. So clear it. Not with guilt, but with grace. As if you're making space for something better. Clean the shelves, wipe down sticky jars, throw out the things that drain you. And once it's clear, restock with care. Not perfection, just care. A bottle of water that feels refreshing. A container of fresh greens. Something that tells your nervous system this space is looked after. And so are you. Don't forget the outside. The fridge door is not a storage wall for old receipts, expired coupons, and mismatched magnets. These things might seem harmless, even nostalgic, but energetically they form a static wall. A signal jam. They disrupt the calm your kitchen is trying to offer. You don't need to strip it bare, but let it breathe. Choose what belongs. A quote that grounds you. A photo that makes you smile. One magnet, not 12. Let the surface reflect intentionality, not chaos. The same goes for the space around the fridge. What's on top? A pile of cereal boxes. A dusty stack of plastic bags. That weight becomes symbolic. It feels like something is pressing down on the very place where you store abundance. Clear it. Replace it with something light. A basket. A small plant. A candle you never light, but always see. Let what surrounds your fridge support the energy you want it to hold. And then, the most important practice of all, gratitude. It sounds small, maybe even silly. But every time you open your fridge, pause. Just for a second. Not to say a mantra or recite a quote, but to feel a moment of quiet appreciation. For the food. For the choice. For the fact that your home holds what your body needs. That feeling of enoughness, of steadiness builds slowly, but powerfully. And it starts to shift how you spend, how you cook, how you treat money. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Because money, like nourishment, is sacred. And when you keep the place that holds your food clean, full, and honored, you're making a quiet declaration: I value what I have. I protect it. I tend to it. And in that tending, you open the door to more. So no, this isn't about becoming a minimalist or scrubbing your fridge daily. It's about remembering that care creates flow. That energy moves more freely through places that feel clear, grounded, and loved. That when you clean your fridge, you're not just wiping shelves, you're aligning your space with the kind of life you want to live, one that's conscious, supported, and open to prosperity. In the end, your fridge isn't just a cold box. It's a reflection of how you receive, of how you hold, of how you prepare for what's next. And when it's clean, stocked, and treated with care, it becomes more than an appliance. It becomes a symbol, a silent source of reassurance that says you are not in survival. You are in stewardship. And maybe, just maybe, that's when abundance starts to stay. Final maybe: today, all we've talked about seems like just the fridge. A direction here, a shelf there. Some expired food. A quiet corner. But when you really pause, it's never just the fridge, is it? It's how we hold space for what nourishes us. It's how we treat what sustains our family. It's how we respond to the everyday objects that, without asking, reflect the way we think, spend, and feel. This isn't about rules. It's about relationship. The relationship between energy and environment, between intention and result, between the physical structure of your kitchen and the emotional structure of your life. Because every placement is a decision. Every item we keep or ignore carries meaning. And in the heart of the home, your fridge becomes something more than metal and magnets. It becomes a compass, a quiet vault, a messenger, a mirror. And you don't need to change everything. You just need to notice. To ask, does this feel like a place where abundance would want to stay? That question alone can open more doors than any instruction manual ever will. So if you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you for letting yourself feel something deeper in the everyday. Thank you for being curious, for choosing presence over perfection. And whatever direction your fridge is facing, may the energy around it start to soften. May your home begin to feel more held. May the flow of nourishment and fortune find its way back to you. You deserve that. And it might just start with how you open the fridge tomorrow. Not out of habit, but with care. Take good care. I'll see you soon.